What's going on, AfterBuzzers? Welcome to the first episode of Host Highlights. We got a special guest in the house. Keep it locked.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AfterBuzz TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
This is how we do it. This is how we do it.
Hold on, we gotta wait till the best part. Oh, maybe not. I thought I was dropping after that.
Now you gotta go one more chord.
Hey. This is how we do it at AfterBuzz.
On a Sunday night.
What's up, AfterBuzzers? Welcome to the first episode of Host Highlights. I'm your host, Olivia Gabaree, aka The Real OG, and I actually have a real OG in the house, an AfterBuzz OG, that is. What's going on, Jesse?
Hey, thanks for having me.
No, thanks for coming in.
Girl,
So where can
I
everybody...
was like, wait a minute, I already did a show earlier today. I was like, you're gonna make me come back to the studio?
Right?
I was like, it's for Olivia, okay.
So you had to do it for me.
You know what I'm saying?
Thank you. I appreciate
You're
you.
welcome.
Where can everybody find you at?
Everywhere at DJ Jesse J across all social media. Boom.
DJ Jesse J.
No I. Okay.
So Jesse, tell me, I know you've been at AfterBuzz for a minute, for longer than a minute. How did you first get involved?
Originally, well, you want the true story?
Yeah, give me the true story.
So I was in like a really low point in my life, and I was back home in Cape Cod, Massachusetts.
Low
And Kevin and Maria were working on a movie called Serial Buddies.
Mm-hmm.
And so growing up, my family and Maria's family, they're very close. My mom and her sang in the same church choir. My mom always had this solo, and Maria had always remembered how my mom had sang, so she was like, I wanted the Somerville Choir to like be involved in the movie somehow, and she had wanted my mom to sing. So my mom drove me down. She was like, just come with me for the day and see what's up. And so we went, and I just like, there was just something inside of me.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like, I hadn't seen Maria in like, I don't even know how many years. And I just walked up to her and I just started like breaking down crying. And I was like, all this stuff just happened to me. I'm gay. I don't know what to do with my life. I'm an accountant. And like, I don't know why I'm an accountant. Like, and she was just like, oh my gosh. She was like, you need to get the heck out of there. She was like, well, you need to meet Kevin. When you meet Kevin is gonna I just know. She was like, we're starting this thing called AfterBuzz. We don't really know what it is right now. It was 2 shows. It was like Jersey Shore and Breaking Bad. Mm-hmm. And it was on Blog Talk Radio. So then the next day, I think I drove up to Boston. I met Kevin in some hotel lobby, and we talked for hours and like instantly clicked. He was like, don't tell Maria, but I need you to pack your car and I need you to move on out here. You're going to live in this house with Phil and you're going to start AfterBuzz. I was like, all right, cool. So here we are.
So let's go. That's so crazy. Did you ever think that you would move to LA before those 42 hours?
Yes. Okay. So actually, the idea was I was already planning to move to LA because my best friend who I lived with in New York, she had been trying to get me to move to LA as a DJ because we did the New York thing. She was like, you need to come to LA. It's such a chiller vibe. So all I had asked from Maria was, I'm moving out there. Can I just meet up with you and like get lunch and like just talk?
Yeah, just get acclimated with things.
And she was like, no, you need to meet Kevin. And then Kevin was like, frick a meeting. Like, you need to pack your stuff, move in. It's going to be great. So I did. I moved in to the house, the original house. And we started with the master bedroom, and it was this studio. We like called it the Black Vortex because the wall was just like, well, originally it was like these red panels. Yeah. And we would like, it was just a talk show. Like there was no cameras or anything. But we would, I don't know why we would write on a marker board like Gossip Girl. And we would just keep it in the middle. It was so ghetto.
So and what, you would remember what to talk? So
I don't know. Like, it was like, we know what we're talking about. And we started with like Gossip Girl, The Game. The Game was my favorite show. It would go for like 2.5 hours though.
So it wouldn't be a show per after show. You would just a bunch of
No. Yeah, they were all their own separate things.
Okay,
so it'd be like Gossip Girl. Like I was originally just an engineer.
Oh.
and we were producing the shows, but it was just for Blog Talk Radio.
Yeah.
So we didn't know what we were doing. We would just go for like 2.5 hours.
On one show?
Girl, yeah.
No.
But like they were crazy. Like the game was probably one of my favorites. If you go back, I don't know how you would even go back to those old ones, but they were like 2.5 hours, and it was like the original crews of like Courtney, Isabel, and it would be like girls versus boys, like, and I would be in the booth like creating sound effects and like instigating them, and I became like the voice from the booth because I was engineering every show.
So you were like that iconic voice of God.
Yeah,
of
but nobody
AfterBuzz
could
TV.
see me, you know what I'm saying? And so then we got the TriCaster. And so it was fun because I got to learn how to integrate the video portion while still engineering and, you know, being able to add the sound effects and stuff like that. But I had literally engineered everybody's shows that it would be like, oh, we don't have a host for Gossip Girl. I'd be like, oh, well, Roxy, I'll sit in with you and Sarah. And then I would just sit in, and it was like, oh, okay, now. I was watching too much TV at this point. Because it was like, you know, they needed someone to step in. So then it became, okay, I would host from the booth. So I was hosting, engineering, and switching the cameras at the same time. And it just kind of became like this thing. So then we moved from Blog Talk to YouTube. And it was just an awesome transition to see the one studio turn into 2 studios. Then, you know, we got the shed and turned the shed into a studio, then turned the garage into a studio. So
And now we're in a real studio.
Now we're in a real studio, and we got it down to like, you know what, 2.5 hours, maybe a little too long.
I feel like now we're like an hour, maybe a little too long.
Right, pushing it.
Yeah,
Let's
well,
keep
I
it.
mean, times are changing, of course, because not like it was so long ago, but, you know, media's changing in 2.5 hours. I mean, that's longer than the show. So
But
that's
go
wild.
back, they were very entertaining.
I
Like,
believe it. Just
there was
knowing
one
all you guys.
episode where Kevin, it was a Jersey Shore episode, and everyone was just getting hammered with green Irish beer, I want to say. And Maria was watching it from the house with a friend, and they literally came and stormed into the studio and took over the show.
Because
They were like,
weren't
Kevin,
happy
you're
with it.
hammered, get off of here. And it was just like, it was so many fun times because we didn't know what we were doing.
Yeah, it was just, you know, it was still at a baby stage, so you were just experimenting.
So to see where it is now, it's like, oh, it's so professional.
I know, that's wild. I mean, of course, AfterBuzz has gotten such a glow up because I'm sure a lot of people didn't realize that the original studios were in a house.
Yeah.
And then that, you know, now it's actually a house and the old studios are people's bedrooms. But
Right.
did you ever see AfterBuzz being as big
Yes.
or as professional as it is now?
Yeah, it got to a point where it was just so many celebrities coming in, and it was so inspiring to just, you know, in my life I've done a lot of projects and worked on a lot of things, but like this was different because it was like the way it grew was so organic, and just what people would come in to just take a shed from Home Depot and to put it in the back, and everyone thought it was a part of the house. Like, and when you really see what you can create with a tiny little space, and what people think when they watch it on camera, and their reaction when they would come in, like celebrities would come in and be like, what the heck is this place? But it was such a positive feeling, you know. When I started hearing that over and over and over again, I was like, oh my God, this is going to blow up into something huge. And I mean, when you have Kevin around, you know, he's just seeding everything. And it's like, he's like, this is going to be great. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. And you're like, yeah, fuck it. Come on.
And you believe him. But I mean, everything does get executed so perfectly. And that's something to be extremely proud of, just knowing that it started to be something so small, and even when it was so small, you know, it was respected by so many people, celebrities included. So that's amazing. And I mean, not only AfterBuzz, but then we actually have a sister network called Black Hollywood Live, and you started that, didn't you?
I helped start it. So with AfterBuzz, one of the shows I engineered was the Modern Family After Show. And it was these 4 girls who came in, and they were all friends, and they were all African-American females who were working in the industry, like whether one was a stand-up comedian, one was a soap actress, the other one was like, she did movies, the other one did TV. And they would come in, and the thing was, they would, like, you know how we break a whole episode down? They would come in, they would talk about what the theme of Modern Family was, and then it would break down into their lives. it was super entertaining, but it was
Yeah.
like, this isn't what we're supposed to be
This isn't an
doing.
after show.
So we're like, let's create, I think it was called like Black Hollywood Weekly or something like that with the sis stars.
Okay.
And it was a dope little concept. And then it kind of went away because everyone got busy. And then all of a sudden, Kevin hit me up and was like, hey, I need you to meet this guy. His name is Daryl, and this girl's name is Aaliyah, and you need to go meet up with them and talk about, this idea, Black Hollywood Live. And so I remember the exact restaurant we were at the day I met them, and like when I tell you I clicked so well with these people that it was just like, we did this with AfterBuzz, let's do this on a whole nother level. And so ever since then, I mean, things have shifted. It's cool because to see some of the original AfterBuzzers like Courtney, Tiana, come over to Black Hollywood and, just build that family bond. It kind of gave me, because with AfterBuzz, it's more of a school.
Yes.
It's turned into that. Because at first with AfterBuzz, it was like maybe 15, 20 hosts, and we all had to like jump in. Like, if you didn't watch the show, sorry, you better pick it up, and this is the show we're gonna do. Like, I never cared about Gossip Girl, but it was like,
you gotta do what you gotta do.
You gotta do what you gotta do. So Black Hollywood was cool because we could create original content, and so that's what we've been doing. And to see that grow, it's just so different because they're two totally different entities. Where AfterBuzz is more of a learning experience, BHL is more of an actual like network. It can compete with the E and with the CBSs and the NBCs, and so it's just been a really cool learning experience.
I know, and that's great. So I know you do a bunch of after shows, and you, especially reality, I feel like you're well known for Love and Hip Hop, but
I didn't start with that. It was originally like scripted, but then when you do after shows, especially over at AfterBuzz, well, Bad Girls Club, I brought Bad Girls Club. I was a mess. I did. I tainted AfterBuzz with BGC. But like, it was Vampire Diaries and stuff like that. But I lost the love for the shows.
Yeah. Because
I liked watching them, but by dissecting them so much and having the fans be like, no, we want Stelena over, it was like, well, bitch, I care about this couple. I want to care about this couple, and I care about this couple. And so it was just, it ruined some shows for me. Yeah. And so that's why I kind of shifted into the reality TV, because I didn't care what anyone thought at that point. So it was just like, oh, these shows are a hot goddamn mess.
And I feel like that's your thing now, though, because it's funny the way you break it down. It's entertaining. And then you brought that over into BHL with Reality Check, right? So tell me about Reality Check.
Well, so I ended up stopping. I had to like stop a lot of after shows. I had to stop with. Actually, I don't do any right now. Because it was just, I was doing Love and Hip Hop, and Love and Hip Hop, if you guys ever watch it, it's literally consistent, back to back to back, every season. Yeah. It was like, bitch, can I get a break?
Yeah, I know, it never ends.
Never ends. And it's just like toxic in your brain. Like, it starts pouring into your life. You like start thinking like, motherfuckers are cheating on you. You're like, bitch.
Everyone's cheating on Love and Hip Hop. It must be real in real life.
So and then it would just get to the point of like, I would see these people out and about, and it's like, hey.
I just talked shit about you for an hour.
Everyone's always been cool about it because they know, you know what I mean? But so I stopped doing it with AfterBuzz, and I channeled it all into this one show, Reality Check, with Ashley Gray. And honestly, it's probably one of my favorite shows because with the thing with reality TV is if you take it seriously, you will become a crazy person.
Oh, yeah, of course.
And I love every Sunday, 4 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, y'all. Reality Check on blackhollywoodlive.com. We just go ham. We literally find topics. Sometimes we're finding the topics live on air. Yeah. We'll just be like, what do you want to talk about, girls? Scroll through the shade room. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And it's just been this release of not taking things too seriously, and where I felt like with AfterBuzz it would be like I'm taking like really extensive notes on Love and Hip Hop,
right? And you're like
that's
breaking
affecting
it
my
down,
psyche,
creating like a love triangle. I know it gets consuming to a point, but I mean, so you've evolved in that way. But since the start of AfterBuzz, how else do you feel like you've evolved as a person?
I've learned so much. I mean, with AfterBuzz has taught me how to do things on my own. I always thought like the goal was, okay, be on E, get a job at MTV, and be a host somewhere. And with AfterBuzz, it's like, it spoiled me kind of, because it's like, I don't want to do those things.
Right.
It would be cool to be on a network, but I would much rather create my own. And it, music is another thing for me. I do the beat on Black Hollywood. So studying music and seeing like how the mixtape game affected album sales and things like that, I'm seeing that with TV.
Yeah.
I'm seeing that with the networks, and AfterBuzz is proof of that. Here's Kevin and Maria, who came in and gave everybody these opportunities to say, hey, you know what? You may not get a spot on these networks, but here's how you can do it yourself.
Right.
Like these studios, like this stuff is literally like, we as hosts and engineers come together, go to Home Depot, get the stuff and put it together. You can do this at your house. I mean, obviously there's some financial situations you need to add to that. And it doesn't help when Maria Menounos is attached to the name. But so for me, that's how I've grown. The past seven, almost 8 years, I've definitely grown as a person, as far as what I want to do. And I've definitely narrowed myself down to figuring out where I want to be in life.
Yeah, it's so great that AfterBuzz gives us not only the opportunity, but I feel like it's all just a learning process, and we're all just figuring out together as it goes, Like I
never would have thought I would be on a red carpet.
Right.
Or sitting across from Spike Lee, or telling Kathy Griffin, like, yeah, girl, I like black dick, and like giving her a high five. Like I never would have thought those things ever in my life, or to think then you see someone a year or two later and they remember your face because you made a moment with them.
Yeah, you made an impression.
Yeah.
That's what I was going to ask you about too, is because I'm sure you've had many like iconic, memorable red carpet moments. I mean, specifically for me, when I was an intern, I remember looking through the red carpet footage, and you had one with Cardi B, and of course then Cardi B was nothing, and now she's everything. And I remember watching that video being like, oh geez, like who the hell is this girl? But can you think of any iconic moments that stick out to you?
Yeah, I mean, for me, that Cardi B one was great because it just goes to show, whenever you go into an interview, treat everybody with respect, because you never know who they're going to be, what they're going to turn into. That one, the Spike Lee, that was just so infamous. Wesley Snipes knowing my name, like I was just like, oh my God, me? Jennifer Lopez. But I would say, as of recently, one of the greatest ones I've done was, and it was funny because, so Loretta Devine, David Allen Greer were about to walk onto the carpet, and I was eating a donut with sprinkles, and they were like, Jesse, you gotta get over to the carpet. So I bite into this donut, the sprinkle gets in my eye, and the sugar is literally melting.
How the hell do you get a sprinkle in your eye?
But I couldn't get it out, and so it's literally melting. I'm have pink tears, and David Allen Greer is just laughing at me before he's like, why is you have pink tears? I'm like, I got a sprinkle in my eye. And so I wiped it off, and that created such a memorable moment that then the next interview I did was with two of their cast mates, and I had heard that they loved to sing. And so I asked them, I was like, can you guys sing a little something? And Tiffany Haddish, who at that time hadn't had her movie out yet, Tiffany Haddish, excuse me, started singing Proud Mary. And because of that, me being honest with Loretta and David about the sprinkle in my eye, it created this bond on the carpet, and they came back. Loretta came back and sang Proud Mary. And that I will never forget that moment. Like, to me, I was just sitting in there like, oh my God, I'm singing with Loretta Devine right now.
Yeah, like,
this is epic.
And who would have known you have a donut to
sprinkle just in my eye.
Like, you just took it for a snack with you? Like,
yeah, because you're on the carpet for hours and there's no movement. Like, people think carpets are like, hey guys, welcome.
Yeah, it's like glitz and glamour. No, you're sweating, you're pushing people out of the way.
And that's only like the 4 minutes. Like, the glamorous part lasts for like the shortest amount of time, but you're there for hours. And it's like they have food and stuff like that. And so it was like, I was like, I didn't expect nobody to walk through the door yet. We've been sitting there for like 45 minutes. I was like, all right, I'm gonna go run and get a donut real quick.
And especially the big people, they never come first.
Exactly.
Usually you get like, the
But it says
whatever.
you got to suck it up and you just got to keep rolling with the
Yeah,
punches.
well, and exactly, and especially because you never know what things are going to turn into. Like Tiffany Haddish, huge now,
Yep.
and who would have known that? Like here you are singing with her, and now she's like this big star that everybody recognizes. So that's awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, outside of AfterBuzz, I know that you're pursuing other projects, and you're still creating on your own, hosting on your own. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yep. Right now I'm doing, over at Dash Radio, it's called The T. And so I'm a co-host over there with Tatiana Carrier. And that's been really a cool experience because they've got me into the world of Twitch.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard of that?
I have.
Yeah. So it's like just...
But isn't it for like, didn't it start out for video games?
Yeah, and it still is, but they're shifting. It's owned by
Okay.
Google, and it's kind of like in a beta test. But the fans there, they remind me of They're way meaner than AfterBuzz.
Oh God.
But like, no, okay, I don't want to say mean, but like
Well, the internet's the internet. Like,
they're gamers, so they literally just sit at home, and it's like with AfterBuzz, it's like you're doing a show, the fans are coming to you because they like that show.
right.
With Twitch, it's like you're putting a show in the world of gamers, so they're like, what the fuck is this? What the fuck is this? You know, so you gotta kind of like roll with the punches and accept. AfterBuzz trained me to be able to take some bullets, and I also do stand-up, so like you gotta be able to take that heat. So, but the world of Twitch has kind of like opened my eyes to like, wow, you know what I mean? I can do this away. I always like held on to AfterBuzz, and you know, that's why I still do it, but because I have a love for it. But then to take your talents and take them someplace else, it just goes to show you the strength that, you know, AfterBuzz has built us up to be. And then on my own right now, I'm actually finishing a project that I've been trying to work on for like 3 years now, called Jesse's House. And I call it a live reality talk show adventure.
Okay.
So it's, you know, it took me years to do it because I'm a perfectionist. Because my thing was when I was like, what am I going to do outside of AfterBuzz? Everybody just takes a camera and they put it against a wall and they just start talking.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't want to do that. Like,
wanna be different.
The first time I was ever on camera, I'm in a nice studio with
Yeah.
celebrities, so I don't want to go down from that. So I was like, let me produce something. Let me create something. And so I literally took my entire apartment, painted it. It looked like a Nickelodeon studio. And I tried to film it so many different times, and it was just the camera person wasn't right, or it just the content wasn't right. I finally got it complete. Now it's in. I have animation being put in because like my thoughts come out as these two little characters. So to see the characters coming to life right now, so I'm really excited about that. That's what I've been like really working on, and that's made me broke as hell.
And so where will it live when it's done? Is it something that you're going to put on YouTube? It's going to have a website?
So the idea was I wanted it to be a weekly show. But what I've learned out here is that don't jump the gun.
Yeah.
So I was rushing it, and that's why it never worked. But when I finally sat down, breathed, thought about it, I was like, okay, I can create a show. It's dope. I'm really excited for it. But what we've done is we've created one episode. And it'll be basically a pitch episode. So that way I can take it to, you know, Netflix or Hulu and those kind of outlets, or even a new outlet. I don't really care, you know. But the point is that I have this project that I can show somebody and say, hey, this is what I'm capable of doing and putting together on my own. But then the fans are like, hey, you've been talking about you're going to put out your project.
Where is it?
So I've been working on another show. As of the past actually 3 weeks, it kind of just came to me. My life has been crazy, and I've always said with the reality stuff, like, and people say I'm so blunt, it's because I know that like we all go through shit, you know. And so the show's called Messy Jesse, where a lot of people think, oh God, what is that about? Because he talks a lot of mess on the reality stuff.
Yeah.
It's not about that. It's actually talking about me. It's more of my stand-up, but also a little Mr. Rogers in there. It's about, you know, when you think of like Instagram, everyone puts their best face up on Instagram, right? But the reality is we all are a hot mess. We all go through issues that sometimes we don't want to talk about because we're too proud to talk about them. And so the idea is to talk about them.
Yeah.
And so I'll talk about my issues. Y'all gonna know everything that I've been going through, but there's always a lesson in the end of it. And so Messy Jesse, it's coming very soon. I'm waiting on some graphics. Isaiah, let's get that together.
Speed it up.
All right. And so there'll be a video portion once a week, and then it'll be an audio podcast twice a week.
Oh, cool. I'm looking forward to that. I feel like that will be funny. And that's great to hear that, you're finally taking your time on a project you care about, because I think that's huge for other people to realize that, in a world where we're so saturated in content, you don't want to just throw some shit out there and hope that it works. If you're going to put something out, you might as well put your best effort into it, because who knows what it could turn into.
Exactly. Like I look at a lot of YouTube. I study YouTube, and it's just, there's a lot of mediocre content.
Yeah.
And it's because it's so accessible. You can literally just go on your phone, record something, and be like, hey, this is my show.
And post it up.
And sometimes it's great. But sometimes it's like, okay, I've seen not this person do it a million times, but I've seen a bunch of people try and do this a million times.
Exactly.
So that's what kind of made me sit back, think, and AfterBuzz has been the, vessel for that, of just stop, think, and then being a part of AfterBuzz and seeing the growth of it, it kind of gives me a little head start, because I can say, okay, this is what we did in the beginning. I don't need to start there. Mm-hmm. I know how to start here.
Right.
So, okay, I need to go to home. I know how to put a stage together, a set together. How do you do that? Okay, well, I couldn't afford a studio, so I turned my house into the studio.
Yeah.
And so
just kind of like how AfterBuzz started originally anyway.
Exactly. So it's just like, use what you have and, let that inspire you.
Yeah, 100%. That's great advice, for other people. And I definitely believe in that as well. I don't know. It's just amazing, and it's probably encouraging to you to see how, AfterBuzz started in the house and ended up that way. So if you're starting your content in a house and you're polishing it and you're so passionate about it, I mean, who knows? It could blow up into something this big, larger than this. You never know.
That's what I'm trying to do. You know what I'm saying?
That's the way. Well, thank you so much for joining me for my first episode.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, it was great to have you. So every Sunday night we'll have a new AfterBuzz on that can, give us some background, tell us about themselves, and hopefully give you guys some advice and some inspiration. So I'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.